Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is Shirley with Spirit of Matter here on a Jupiter day, Soul Hour with Soul, actually in the 8th house here. And I'm doing astrology. So we're doing the astrology of February. I talked about Aquarius. I talked about the lunation today in a separate video. So thank you for the likes, the shares, the comments. You can say something nice, only if it's nice. So ascendant 11 degrees Cancer with the moon in Leo in the second, and this is midheaven 27 degrees Pisces with a Pisces astrology. So ascendant, sun, moon in Pisces, or stellium, which is a couple of planets in Pisces. This is for you. And now what are we going to have this February? So a little bit of Faber. And February, first of all the planets are direct. I talked about this in my February general forecast. All the planets are direct. You don't have to worry about retrogrades. But you have to worry about these shade periods. Mainly Uranus shade period and Pluto. So we're going over things we've gone about a year ago. Okay? Because there were 6 months retrograde and then going back. Okay? So, and this is happening for you Pisces in the 3rd house with Uranus and in the 12th house with Pluto. So that is something ongoing. It will take a while. It's not just February. But this is in the background. Now, before the lunations, let's take them one by one, the ingresses. And this is, so first of all, Mercury ingresses to your 12th house in February 5. What that means for you? Well, Mercury, it rules your 7th house and it rules your 4th. And now these topics are going to reveal themselves in the 12th. So 12th, it can be your dream realm, your bedroom. You can literally mean you spending time in the bedroom or signing or spending time or some details, because Mercury's details that were hidden to you revealed. It can also be things going missing, because 12th house is kind of like the house of loss, but also something going missing. Okay, Sun entered my 12th house, and there is a pet that used to visit here, and I was like, where is this pet? Where is this pet? And he is not exactly like my pet. He was just coming to visit, so we don't know if he's by someone because it's winter, and we'll have to see how it goes. And if he belongs to others, then we cannot paint the pictures like, did you see this bird? Yes, it's our pet. Why are you posting a picture? Okay, so Mercury, some details can go missing, some contracts can go missing, something that you wrote, or your partner. This donation is peculiarly funny. Hopefully, if your partner is not going missing in like any war atrocities or like horrid stuff. But it can also mean that you are with your partner in the bedroom more at this time. The 12th house, well, yes, we talked about bedrooms, hotels. You might want to be cautious about, let's say, technology. If you go to a vacation or somebody trying to see you like in your bedroom or through your cell phone, kind of like a surveillance thingy, in which case, you have to remember that the world is going to become transparent anyhow. We all have a body, okay? If somebody tries to cash in on your body, they're digging their own grave. You just let them pass by and pass over if they need to cross to the other side. Or so that the Wu Wei is going to do well with that, because the 12th is where we surrender things to be. Because like, oh, there are cameras, I don't know, filming my butthole when I take a yoni bath, sun bath. Well, everybody has a vagina. Everybody of those who has a vagina or a penis or both, Or none, I don't know. So it's like, I'm not going to not sunbathe. Um, and if somebody finds it peculiar or embarrassing, then, or think that they can trade on that, then they will be like digging, like they're setting themselves up basically. With Aquarius, they're setting themselves up for, a big confusion. But more things that can happen with the Mercury ingress. Of course, it involves Mercury's children, news. Children use hospitals, okay? Children use hotels. And Mercury, of course, meets the great giant Pluto that is already in your 12th house. So it has embarked into 20 years of your 12th with a little bit of September to November in Capricorn. So in the 11th. Mercury meets Pluto. And as always, this is an informed meeting, okay? So some weird stuff being exposed about journalists, about children, about contracts. Somebody was trying to sign off one of my family members about a paper that says that the apartment will be written again on them when they are tenants, but it's not like they're going to benefit anything from that. And of course I said, well, very lucky that it was not me, because I would sign and I would cancel the checks, and I said, this is my apartment, I just need to register it to pay property tax. Salamat. So be careful who you try to con. If you try to con a Pisces, pick someone else. Okay, we're basically ruled by the sign that is ruling fraud. So if we are not fraudsters, it's very likely that we either won't even know what we're doing and you're setting yourself up, or we're going to do something that would end up as you setting yourself up. That's the thing. It's a very slippery fish. That is Mercury in the 12th. But it's not going to be staying there for long, okay? This might also mean a period where some, if you have the kind of people like at home or at the partnership, it's kind of like a toxic and they talk about you behind your back. So this time it can both be revealed or it can be happening. You kind of like don't know about this. But again, your Jupiter is in your third house. You're like more busy with the neighborhood and stuff. And whatever they are doing will be revealed to you and you will feel it in your body. Okay, because Saturn, the ruler of your 12th house and your 11th house, is in your first house. So to me, it's like, let's tend to my fingernails, let's tend to my hair, and then poof, I write a post on Facebook, poof, I send something. And I don't even know what's happened on the other side, but it's just so if they say something behind your back, you're going to feel it. You're going to tend to your body. It's like, why is my belly aching? Or why, this is basically the feet, Pisces rule the feet. Why are my feet like that? Very interesting. Let's release that, and then like poof, something happens, like the butterfly effect in their entire psyche. So again, you do not want to be unfavorably at the 12th house of a Pisces. that is just a piece of advice. Just a piece of advice. Okay, it's not a favorable idea. This is why it's intuitive right now. And so Mercury will enter your first house, which means you are the topic of the conversation as of February 23rd. Okay? So February 5, 12th house, some hidden communication, something hidden. First house, February 23rd, this little detail is now trying to affect you. And I say trying because you're a Pisces ascendant. Your ruler is now co-present in the third house with Uranus, with the ruler in your 12th. So you're going to be the topic of a conversation around like your partner and somebody, one of your parents. Okay? So And that topic of a conversation kind of puts you in a weird light. But they have to be cautious here because Saturn in first house can mean you separate. So you might cut this, okay? You might put an end to something, and you will feel it in your body. For you, as far as you are concerned, you are just putting an end to, I don't know, eating overly sweet food, okay? And then you find out what that habit was sitting on, and then they begin to reveal themselves, and they fall like a tower of cards. Because now you face your addiction. It's not you face your addiction of like the 12th house. You face what you eat, how you walk, also your hygiene pattern still. Okay, as long as hygiene is in your first house. Okay, I will say I'm trying to do this. Why am I always too tired at night and to wash my face? I don't know, or to wash my feet. And you see that something is coming up. This is how you're going to feel that. And it's going to be when you are around your neighborhood, or when you are driving, or taking public transportation, or communicating, or doing something, or even talking with your siblings, or doing something that you do daily, okay? Then you will pay attention to your feet and to your throat. You pay attention to your feet, you begin to speak, my friend, or you might be singing something, and something will be unraveled here. That can cause you a little bit of loss, but it kind of goes like a little bit of a loop you are trying to break. When Venus is going to ingress to your first house, things will become clearer. You can experience some sort of a certain loss, or feel at loss of words, but it's because you are the topic of too many conversations here, okay? All of these guys or girls or whomever they are, as you address your physique, okay, your body, you cut the wrong habits, you cut the habits, the things you've been doing wrong. Okay, you're like, I'm addressing this. Now I want to eat healthy. Now I want to take care of my hair more, take care of my skin more. Now I want to take care of my feet more. I want to make sure my feet is in good temperature and stuff like that. As you do this, they fall like a tower of cards. And the challenges that you have in doing this is where you have like the bumps in the roads. You need to see that. You need to hear that. You need to know about this conversation, okay? They fall like a tower of cards. But you have to pay attention to your body. And yes, you can experience something like, I don't know if you have itch in the feet, or if you have, you feel like in your feet, something like this, okay? Something like this, or you align your bone structure, like if you have like hallux valgus or something like that. So you align your bone structure, you do your exercise, and then you think about something, or you hear something, or something happens, and it begins to like they begin to fall apart the more that you get back to you. And Saturn here is now putting you back in place. You are in you. You're fixing your garden, you're fixing your car, you're fixing your driving license, you're fixing your papers, of whatever you have to do that's around your daily routines. Okay, and then you're just going to ingress into your fourth house. So you're fixing housing for you, your house, or your relationship with the ancestors, the parents, and so on and so forth. So it's both about coming to peace with, the co-presence of Mercury and Saturn, coming to peace with your past habits, being compassionate toward yourself, and making adjustments. Okay, Mercury in the first house. Your ascendant is ruled, if your ascendant Pisces, you're ruled by Jupiter. Okay, so you are Jupiter. Yeah. Mercury in the first house, you might be speaking about your home or about your partner, or you are the topic of the conversation. So it works either way. So this is Mercury. And then we have Mars ingressing February 13, ingressing to your 12th house. Okay? And again, it meets the great giant Pluto and becoming informed by Pluto. So you want to look at what happened in January when Pluto ingressed to your 12th house, because the planets one by one that are in Capricorn now are going to go over. It was the Sun first, then we have Mercury, next up is Mars. And so Mars fruit rules your 2nd house and your 9th house, okay? Your beliefs get transformed by what Pluto sees in the 12th. Okay, for example, one of the things that happened to me, there is a fund called Waxman Fund, and apparently whoever funds them is electing, they are giving grants to the officers in the army, the higher officers, judges, I think also social workers, or I don't know, probably, so maybe even they don't know what energy was involved with them because he was dependent on them financially maybe. And so you cannot get to these roles if you're not kind of like approved. There's also the judges, yes? And we had a big revolution in Israel before that about the juristic system. And I was like, oh, until these Waxman guys touch the the judge, the Supreme Court, until then we had peace. Yes, of course, it's not only that, but you have to understand that something is being revealed, okay? And so I realized that when I was addressing stuff in the academia, I was revealing way more than I knew, and this is why it caused so much problems. Because I was like, okay, I just wanted to not be harassed at work. What's up? It's not the Big Bang, but the new universe. Why is it stepping on everybody's toes that I want to exist peacefully? So you might have such a moment right now because Mars is your skill, 2nd house, your values, okay? And in your values, however Piscean, you want to be self-sufficient. And you want to be able to say, I am, without having a problem with that. So you assert your I am. Now, the funny thing is you are Pisces. We don't know who you are. You're this, that, yeah. But whoever you are at any given time, you have to be able to assert that. And, get your autonomy to be that at any given time of the current. So, and now the 9th house is kind of like your worldview. Or if you have something to do with the academia, if you're like teacher or religion or philosophy, but it can also be traveling abroad. So yes, hopefully it's not exile because of your values. So it's kind of like, you're too skillful, you go. Yes, but not deportation or anything like that. But if it is, it's because something you do for a living. And this Mars is now being informed with this Pluto in your 12th. So the 12th is revealing of the things. The 12th is both revealing of things and it's also the way things go missing. So certain ways, certain power dynamics are going missing. Okay? And you don't know if they will return or not. Okay, there's certain power dynamics that were affecting you, and you've seen it when Pluto was in your 11th, are now going missing. Okay, you don't have these power issues now with the 11th house. It's ingressing from your 11th to the 12th. So that is missing. But also, if you had a certain position in society, you lose a little bit of a power in society upon the ingress. And with the Mars, there's some sort of income that may be lost, but also loss of values. Okay, if there is a value that is no longer outdated, that is no longer serving, then it might go missing. Okay, you might lose this value. Worldview, you might lose a certain worldview. Okay, so the dream realm can be very beneficial for you because there are things that can be revealed in the dream. Okay, it's going missing here, but it pops out in the dream, or in the astral field, or in the energy field, and stuff like that. And so your access to the motivations behind your actions now can be through the dream world. Okay, so you want to keep track of your dreams and kind of understand, because your and also your actions might be determined in your dreams. Okay, so the people might try to interfere with your actions, and you will feel it in your very physique. Okay, somebody tried to hex you, somebody tries to do something. Again, they're messing with the Pisces. So you're not a particularly violent, unless there's something like really badly aspected. You're not particularly violent. You're normally compassionate. You're either, but you definitely are going to, the best thing that I can do is to heal myself, and then they fall like a tower of cards, because you actually tend to that. Okay. But if there is something that is difficult to diagnose, why is this happening? Why am I this? Why am I that? Is usually something that is going to be revealed to you either in the dream state, or it's just going to pop out and you're going to sense it in your body. Okay, so somebody's dreaming around you, you're waking with an itch in your feet, and kind of like the finger from the left, is that someone? I'm not joking, it can be like that, but you might not care that much where it's coming from. Like, okay, I just want to slip, return to the current, flow with the current and see what happens. And they kind of like, if they try to set you up, yes, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. But if they're just trying to be seen by you, they might go unnoticed. So that is also the 12th house. Okay, so it's what you don't know that we don't know. But you have a little bit more access to your body. If it's not threatening, then you're more likely to listen. Yeah. So that is Mars. Your worldview and your vocation might put you in a little bit of risk. Okay? Of losing something, or or when it comes to like sexuality, or like the bedroom, so it might be more creating some conflicts, somebody wants to, yes, not somebody, because maybe some person wants to put you like in hospital or in jail because of your worldview and your vocation or your expenses or something. Like, again, if they try to do this, they set themselves up. It's so big, so I can't, like, if somebody tries to get you like behind bars, or somebody tries to put you like in a mental hospital, like they would set you up, because Pisces, your ascendant is ascendant of missionary. Okay, so and they will put you on a missionary on whatever they don't want. You will become like a messiah in this story. If you go to jail, you become like the messiah of the people both inside and outside of jail, because the ruler of the 12th is the ruler of the 11th. Okay, if they put you like in hospital, you will become like the messiah, the prophet of the new medicine. Okay, so anybody who tries to do that, if they go on this direction, it's not so good. But what you do want to pay attention to is that those things that are not revealed to you, how they play a part. For example, this Waxman story that I told, okay? There's a fund that they give the grants to anybody who wants to do, whether it's a doctor or a lawyer or a high officer in the army, high position in the army, and so on. You can't get to these places. Now, when I was just addressing somebody who violated my sexual boundaries, okay, even very slightly, even said something or tried to get hold of my energy or something like that, even if they're not doing that like on purpose to hurt me, or there's just a coping mechanism, and I just wanted to heal myself, okay? I'm a Pisces ascendant. And then I just heal myself, and I paid attention to my body, and then I was expressing myself, because this is how you heal. And the entire academia tried to, I don't know, put me in a hospital, put me this, put me that, because I had no idea of what I was exposing. So you want to understand that, first of all, you leak, and secondly, you're exposing way more than what you know. Okay? And there are certain things that are affecting you affecting your mental state that you're not even aware of. And throughout the 20 years of Pluto in your 12th house, you're going to find out those hidden power dynamics. And with Pluto being an outer planet, they are going to be intergenerational, okay? Pluto is about wealth, it's about power. So it's about gravity as well, okay? So those things are slowly going to be revealing themselves. Mars, Pluto, real estate, oils, okay? Action, passion, nature, your worldview about nature, sexuality, but more like the drive, the raw drive of sexuality, stuff like that. So yes, this is the ingress of Mars. And then we have last but not last either, Venus ingressing into your first house, right? No, to Aquarius, sorry. You have Venus ingressing into Aquarius, okay, on February 16. Depending on where you are, it can be a day sooner or later. You go to something like astrology and you set the time. Yes. Who are we meowing at? Hello. Oh, hello. Come. Yes, you are sweet. Don't fight with each other. Two female cats. No. Hey, no. You're sweet, yes, but also. Now, while I am making peace amongst the felines, we go back. February 16, Venus enters your 12th house. So what is Venus for you? It's ruling the 8th house and the 3rd house. So if you have taken a debt to buy your car, you might find out that you are missing the money. Okay, you're like, oh, this is only going to be $100 a month. And then you find out that this is a very big $100 a month. Okay, because you want to buy this, you want to buy that, and you want to do this, and you want to do that, and you don't have the money because you have a car. So 8th house is where you take a loan, or where you're receiving a loan, but now it has Keto, so you're letting go. You could be letting go of debt. If you have debt, you are letting go of debt. If you have like receiving money, okay, from like a partner or something like that, you might be letting go of that too. And so it can be particularly difficult when both Venus and Mars, because Venus is your 8th, Mars is your 2nd. So your income and your investments, okay, are both lost. Okay, so but you might get the new being revealed to you through your dreams. You might find out where they're at. Okay, so in this situation, Venus going through your 12th house. Okay, the 12th house is also the bedroom, so you might have nice connections, nice relations, nice astral sex. With both Venus and Mars and Saturn in your first, you might learn how to set boundaries. If you're missing kind of like the little refined things of like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, even when the sex is like energetic, then this is where you get to set boundaries as well. Okay, Venus informed by Pluto. So what that means, okay, Venus rules your like siblings or neighbors, and you're kind of like accountant. Okay, so it can be that your accountant is informed by your mental struggles, or that some intimate partner, you know, they get with you to the bedroom and then like stuff is revealed. And in that case, this partnership can be very, very intimate, because Venus is ruling the 8th and the 3rd, so sibling-esque, not in an incestual way, more like very close, okay? Hopefully, yes. And that also means that you're going to have a big chunk of planets in your 12th house. So remember, January with the 11th, my dreams and goals, being outspoken, a connection, having connection with people, having like a nice social time, but also conflictual time and good arguments with people. Now, this is all happening in the house of where I didn't know that I didn't know that. I didn't know that I didn't know that either. Oh, never didn't know I didn't know that either. Okay, so your dream life is very busy. And in general, if somebody tries to meet you in the astral, it's kind of like your hotline on the astral realm is very busy. So there's going to be a lot of beings that want to connect with you. And so it might be a little bit hectic. So that might mean you'll be more lucidly dreaming, more out of touch, kind of like, it's difficult to keep in touch with the sense of time and place because the dream life is so busy, and big things are happening. Okay, wow, I didn't know that. Big dreams, big things that you're processing a lot at this time, and so it may be more difficult to just keep in schedule or remember what day it is or how much money you have in your pocket. So this is the month for you, okay? This is the spirit of February. I want to pay attention for that. If you've been scheduling like a big purchase for February, it's like kind of like all the planets are direct, it's nothing too much. All the planets are in your 12th house of loss, of values, of assets, okay? Of undermining actions. A note to self. Okay? So those big things that you're planning on doing, as Biden says, don't. If you can. So, yeah. So that is the ingress for you of Venus. And February 19, Sun ingresses to your first house. Yes? Yes. So if you are a Sun Pisces, that means your birthday month is opening February 19. You can already begin to celebrate. Sun. So energy is coming back to you. But still, you're still going to be having, first of all, Mercury is on the 22nd. I definitely know who I was going to be speaking about or two at this time. I already know they're like, oh, this guy has Saturn in this degree. Yeah. We're going to be talking about this and so on. So you're still going to have a chunk of planets in your 12th house. And Mercury 22nd degree. So if you're channeling or mediuming any dead journalists, they might make an appearance, or you might have a message about to do with to kill, be killed. It's nothing, it doesn't have to be like, it just might mean, granted that your partner is not threatening you. They've been very light today. It just might mean you're like, oh, did you hear about the so-and-so? Or your partner has a dream or something like that, and you've sensed this dream. Or some journalist going missing, and then you found out in the dream that they died in a certain way. Yes, it just involves this type of little messages. Or you might be talking about the lethality of like the mental health system, and Mercury is chemistry, so the pharmaceuticals, the lethality, children, kill and be killed, stuff like that. But the Sun is ruling your 6th house, so a new pet might come to you, so you can be walking in your neighborhood, Jupiter still, and some new pet comes in and say, hi, where you've been all these months? I don't know, with my parents. But you don't have a bell, neither do you. So that could be a nice conversation. But also a colleague, a work colleague might want to approach you, and they may have a conflict with you. They may be trying to reach you in your dreams, and they're like, now that we meet, and they meet you around your neighborhood. But again, they meet in a Pisces, so they're a slippery fish if they have a conflict, but they will have to address this in a way that is non-conflictual. It's the only way to settle it with you, in a non-conflictual way. Another thing, it can be like your health. So you're kind of like, oh, let's take care of my health. Let's do some healthy stuff. Let's take a walk around the neighborhood. Okay, healthy stuff. Instead of taking a bus. Sun is out. February sun. I love the February sun. So let's take a walk around the neighborhood. Maybe there is some lake in the neighborhood or stuff like that. Let's go visit some cows in the farm. I don't know. And that is the way it transcends, and the sun will open another synodic cycle with Saturn, okay, in your first house. So definitely, if it's very likely your karma is to lose some weight, okay, lose some sweet tooth, and not the tooth itself, but more like the habit of sweet tooth, okay. If you've been eating too much for your pleasure, now you're going to have to find pleasure in a new way that's more healthy for you. And the sun is also there. Now, a new job might arise. The sixth house also like your duties and the way you serve the world. So it can be also at work. And so a fated new work may arise, may come an opportunity, may come your way, and you might not have to travel too far to do it. So you could be working with pets, you could be working as driving license teacher, stuff like that, or your sibling could, or you could be, you need to remember, you have to be performative, you have to be expressing yourself, you have to be making money out of being creative, and being very appreciative. At work, you are in Leo. I'm not talking about your career. I'm talking about like you go, I don't know, to McDonald's, you're the star of the show. Okay. Somehow it's going to be this way. And so you have to think about in what way is it appropriate for this to be this way. And it's important for your health to be appreciated and worshipped in your work. When I was working as a doggy sitter, I have a pack of dogs, they're looking at you like you're the queen. And I'm like, I did not know I have a Leo side in me. Well, I do when I work. So, and that is another thing that can come by when the sun ingresses. So again, no big, no big eclipses, nothing going direct or retrograde. Pluto just at the shade period, Uranus at the shade period. You're going to be like going over things in the background. And before the lunations, let's just check some sort of angles that we have here. So we'll begin with with the planet order. And let's take a look at the difficulties, because February, everything is moving direct. Is other than the fact that your 12th house is packed, it's not so difficult. Okay, so you're one of the ascendants that are, or sun, moon, stelliums that are getting a little bit of, more of an intensity, but to your dream state when it comes to February. Okay, it's not a smooth month for you. It's an interesting month. It's an exciting month. It can be a little bit draining month as well, but it's not a smooth ride. And you also should be budgeting correctly. Note to self. So yeah, we are talking about the Sun square Uranus. So Sun squares Uranus from 19 degree Aquarius. Uranus is already direct. It's been there before. It is now there, but retrograde. And Sun square Uranus, okay? And I think about the arguments that I have a sun in Taurus that I've been having with people that had sun in Aquarius, kind of like a sun square sun. So what was it about? Usually the Aquarius, they want to be standing alone. They care about humanity, but they're also highly self-sufficient and care about their freedom, but also deeply care about stable connection. Those are things that Taurus relates to. But Saturn, okay, especially if it's your malefic of sect, is doing discipline. They are outside of the norm, but they have a discipline to them. Taurus has a discipline a bit of a different way. Venus is about validation. So let's say you have a problem. Okay, a person for whom Jupiter is the, kind of like the benefic of sect, they would have less problem with discipline, and they would solve things by changing the focus and changing their story around things. Okay? Venus people, okay, if your sun below the horizon, then you have more problem with discipline, and Saturn is ruling also Aquarius, not just Capricorn. But you have no problem to validate people. So if somebody comes to you with a problem, you're not imagining you are beautiful, you are powerful, you can do this. Jupiter can be encouraging in that way, but it's more like, well, how about we change the story? How about we look at it from this point of view? And you have to figure which one you are. You are ruled by Jupiter. It doesn't mean that Jupiter is like the only way to you. If you are ruled by Jupiter, the sun below the horizon, it's a combination of changing your story happens after you've been validated. Okay, so Sun squares Uranus can give you a little bit of the eureka of that tension that you hold, not just between the 12th house and your 3rd house, but between the archetypes of Aquarius. Okay, the rebel that becomes a tyrannical, the dogmatic scientific revolutionist, okay, the dogma outside of the dogma, and Taurus, okay, the air and the soil, the air and the land. And in the 12th house is kind of like being validated for your mental difficulties or struggles or hidden patterns, kind of like feeling worthy, feeling validated. And it kind of like your daily routines, okay, this tension, because there is a tension between the 12th and the 3rd. Okay, 12th is what we don't know that we don't know. 3rd is our daily habits. So what we don't know that we don't know is affecting our daily habits. Okay, let's say I take the public transportation every day because I don't have enough money for a zero emission light year 1 car. And because I don't feel so comfortable driving with the surroundings here, because I like people, but when they drive, they are crazy. You see, crazy is a 12th house word. Okay, I don't get along with those crazy people is an Aquarius word. Okay, so something in my daily habit is I would take public transportation or walk. When I lived in the city, I didn't even take public transportation. I used to walk because I couldn't deal with the crowd. I couldn't deal with the crowds. I couldn't stand in line, and I'm like, I'm singing, I'm this, I'm that, and then I look like the crazy. This is crazy that we all have to wait in line like we're waiting for, I don't know, it's like, this is public transportation, we pay taxes for it. So I was like, or I'll just take a walk. It's healthier to take a walk. Okay, but I take a walk also because I cannot really stand and wait for the bus. When I lived in the city, it was useless to take a bus in many places, but if you wanted to go like real far, I would still take a walk. So some of it is health and some of it is like coping mechanism. it's those simple things, okay? The fear of driving, or the fear of not driving. People that are the opposite, they usually complement each other. Okay, so like a sibling or partner would kind of have a fear of not driving themselves. So that is one of the eurekas that you'll be having, and it's through some sort of a crisis. Okay. So if it is about your neighbors as well, okay, there can be some sort of a conflict or some sort of a crisis, and it's usually because hiddenly for your mental health you need space. Okay, this is Aquarius. Aquarius, to be mentally healthy, you need space and you need to express your uniqueness. Your bedroom has to be big. Space, your own bedroom. If you think about like the structure, it has to be big. What more, Aquarius? Yes, I could say funny things, but it's over revealing. That once in a blue moon when I'm being socially appropriate. So Aquarius 12th house in your nervous system. Okay, so you have to take care for your mental health, you have to take care of your nervous system, and both the sun and Aquarius is kind of like what foods are supportive for your nervous system. You have to, and so you don't want to be learning these things at the mental hospital or in jail. Okay. And so you want to address this when you are at your own, like when you retreat to yourself. And so Uranus is going to bring in a little bit of a chaos because there is a revolution happening near you. Okay? Said the girl who lives in Israel right now. So that is just true. It's transient, it's a little bit of a crisis, but there is a eureka always involved with Uranus. And you lose something. So you lose, let's say, Sun is in the 6th house, you lose your vibrancy. Okay, you lose a little bit of your shine. It's like, hey, your eyes don't shine like they used to. It's like, yes, of course my eyes don't shine like they used to. There's a revolution in my neighborhood. It's like, but aren't you rebellious? Yes, but not among these people. Well, I want you to step outside and go take a walk, you know, on the, in your yard. And that will help you fix your nervous system. Oh, yes, but the neighbors will see me and they will want to talk with me, and I know. Okay. So it's that kind of a crisis that puts you in a little bit of a confrontation, but it's not an opposition confrontation. It's a tension that you need to hold between, I want to rebel. Okay, everybody's rebelling now. I don't agree with the way that they're doing the revolution. I have my own unique voice in the revolution. And I'm like, would you go there and just look at who these people are? So, but it's coming to your neighborhood, okay? Your neighborhood is in a revolution. That's this one. It's transient. Then the sun will conjunct Saturn, okay? I skipped the smoother stuff. Yes, Mercury is going to be conjuncting the sun. I don't know if it is a Kazemi or combust. Please, if you want to do a talisman, I don't know how you check this, but check this, okay? Because I'm not saying it's because combustion is something that we avoid when we try to do astrological talismans, and I know this from Christopher Warnock. And Kazemi is something that we actually aim at. It's a vibrancy, it's a new energy. Also, you want to check which is which. But that's to Sun Mercury. We don't do this with Sun Saturn, probably. Anyway, unless you're crazy. So Sun is going to conjunct Saturn in your 1st house, February 28th. And this is the opening of a new synodic cycle. Saturn rules your 11th and your 12th, and the Sun rules your 6th house. So again, you might, and Sun, Saturn, there's a certain contraction happens before there is a new opening. So it's thinking about, it's kind of like, Sun is also informing Saturn about the type of structure that you will need. So let's say you've been trying to, Pisces is feet, so you've been trying to go to a reflexologist. And then this reflexologist, they address, let's say, I don't know, your kidneys. Yes, your 8th house, and they have some improvements around, let's say, your depth and so on and so forth, because it's 8th house for you, right? I don't know if it works with the tropical, like, haven't tried that. It's hypothesis. And now with the Sun, Saturn, kind of like, okay, we're done with the kidneys. What should we work about now? And Saturn's kind of like ruling your 11th and 12th. Is kind of like, I understand that my mental health suffers because I have not been achieving my real dreams and goals. And I understand that those dreams and goals are climbing a mountain. Okay, maybe a literal mountain. And you got to see where natural Saturn is at. This is a Pisces having revelations here. So a lot of meta. And so I say, well, Saturn, what does it rule? Well, the skin, the nails, the hair, the teeth. Oh, I've been needing to take care of my teeth, being so and so. Okay, so now that we tended to the depth issue, might want to treat your teeth, but they might begin to work on your teeth and hair through the legs and so on and so forth. And then you get an improvement on your life path. Okay, so it's like this is going to be the new structure. And that is the situation. It can also mean something is contracting. So let's say you have to, if you've been taking care of pets, so now you're like, should we sterilize one of the cats or not, and so on. Or you're taking in a new pet, there's some sort of a commitment, okay? If we're not sterilizing, we're going to have to find somebody to adopt the kittens, or we're going to have to allocate a budget to it, we're going to have to get a new job, or something to do with that. Someone's going to have to change to take this commitment. And as you do that, you might have like a new pet, or you might, for some of you might give a cat to adoption or pet to adoption. But it's more like something is contracting. It can be that you have to keep like papers, because Saturn is bureaucracy, or you're getting a pet that is actually improving your mental health. Okay, this is kind of like prescribed to you in some way, shape, or form, and you might be needing to take a walk with the pets because Jupiter in your 3rd house, so walk around the neighborhood. It could be either either you decide to do that, but Saturn is karma, okay? There's a dog, it's good for your mental health. You have to take a walk 3 times a day, and this is how you do it. You adopt a dog, you have the papers, you get grants for this, you get their food, you get this, you get that. Now you're going to be doing that, and now you have to take this commitment and responsibility, which you might deride, but you love the pet so much, and you might have a little fear about. But that can be the symbol of a new beginning for you. Another thing, it can be, again, a job that you begin now. A job presents itself to you now, and there's something karmatic about this. Okay, so this job is destined to be better for your mental health, is important, and is supportive of your dreams and goals. Okay, because if it's not, you're going to be unhealthy mentally and physically. You must understand this, Pisces. Okay, your 6th house and your 12th house is for everyone. Your 12th house is ruled by also the ruler of your 11th house. So your mental health, to be mentally healthy, you have to either be activistic in some sort of way, or chase your dreams and goals, or dedicate yourself to your dreams and goals. And this important that your duties, 6th house, will be benefiting your dreams and goals, to be benefiting your health, your mental health, and vice versa. Okay, if your dreams or goals are done in a way that's not benefiting your mental health, you might have a problem achieving this way. You might lose those dreams and goals. Okay, so now you might have an understanding of how to do that. So you have a new dedication. So you have a new duty that you take upon you. Okay. It can also be duty contracting. So there is a contraction before there is an expansion. With Saturn, this conjunction, okay? Saturn is like the karmic test, okay? Are you able to do this? Yes or no? Saturn says no. It takes something away, but it makes the place for a new beginning. So you might be letting go of a commitment, but you also might be letting go of a disability. You might be letting go of an ailment. You might be letting go of a dream and goal, but only if and only if it's not beneficial to your health. You must remember this, because this decision that you are making will have to be informed by this, because you're opening a new cycle to take commitments that are more compatible with your health and your dreams and goals. It's the 11th. Okay. So that's about this synodic cycle. And yes, we talked about the conjunctions with Pluto. Mercury will square Uranus February 17, again from your 12th house. This might be a little bit of a moment. Okay, Mercury is one of those times. This is where, okay, I talked previously about your 12th house being packed, also with Venus and Mars. Mercury is also about expenses. When money changes hands, when energy changes hands, you get this Tom Jacobs, money is energy, money is energy. I don't know if he still teaches that. But when money and energy changes hands, this is Mercury at work as well. And this is where, when I talk about the square to Uranus, all of the cases, okay, Venus, to a little degree, Moon as well, and Sun as well, Mars and Mercury, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and Mars especially is the ruler of your second, and Venus the ruler of your eighth, not only because of the signification of these planets, so it's more accentuated for you. And so not only are they in your 12th, so you might be doing it anyway. When Mercury squares Uranus, there's a sudden money exchange. And with Mercury in the 12th, it's about you're on the giving side of this energy. Okay? So how can you remediate for that? If you buy yourself a vacation in a hotel room, if you buy yourself something from a very far away land that's to do with Aquarius, to do with astrology, okay? So if you like buy a talisman, you still might lose this money, you still might be needing this money, but at least you've done something of an Aquarian type. If you donate or give certain charity, even though you can't afford this, that's to do with something of Aquarius, so homeless people in a faraway land, or homeless astrologers, or homeless scientists. And you can also be speaking about those, but because it's the 12th, your money changes. There is also hidden wealth in the 12th because of this, because energy doesn't just vanish. And so there's some sort of a crisis where you're probably going to be, you're on the giving side of energy and money in a way that is not exactly the favorite month to do this, but you're going to be doing it anyway. My approach to this is don't try to fight with the other planets. Set intention. Okay, the other planets kind of like, if you think of Saturn as the lord of karma, then because it moves so slow, then think about the outer planets. Okay, how many times does 28 years is in 80? Because this is the cycle of Uranus, the closest outer planets to our Earth. But, okay, from the vantage point of the earth, whatever. I confuse myself even though I know this, I confuse myself. So the thing is that you won't be expecting in one moment, in one transit, to do it correctly with Uranus. No, Uranus has been harboring a desire that you have forgotten about, and poof, it pops up. What is the nature of this desire? Well, it's the Venusian nature. Venus is ingressing into your 12th house and with Pluto. Okay? I want you to think about sex toys. I want you to think about if you have a partner, okay, or did you go to bed with, okay, you might be spending time, gifts on each other, stuff like that. I want the food, the type of food you have, and I'm trying to be positive here. So a rose quartz. You might be having a consultation, astrological consultation. I don't know if it's the best timing to do that, but you might be spending money on that. Okay? When will I have how to sort my Venus-Pluto opposition or Mercury-Pluto opposition? Okay? New ideas, stuff like that. So this is where you're on the giving side of energy, and it won't be returning immediately. Okay, with the 12th house, we surrender. There is a sort of giving that is, you want to be authentic as well, but there's a sort of giving that is unconditional. If you are able to provide for unconditional giving, then this is the time to do so. Yes, you want to see what's in your 12th. We talked about Aquarius and what's Aquarian, right? Kind of like the underdog, the maverick, the scientist is being silenced because they have a new theory. The astrologer, it's kind of like if it's a homeless person, it's a homeless underdog, because Saturn rules homeless. The neurodivergent type of person, and stuff like that. And so if you cannot give unconditionally, you want to be authentic with that. Okay, when I began to work with Deneb Algedy, I kind of got like, on my business, I kind of got like the advice to give gifts, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm able to give unconditionally right now. Okay, and then I got a series of other teachings to do with that, just a series of other teachings and support to do with that. And basically my belongings were guarded when I was in exile, and like really stuff that deep. When you are authentic and you kind of like say, I don't find me the ability to give and genuinely not expect a return right now, what do I do now? Then this is the time where you're going to be receiving. Okay, you're going to be receiving guidance. You're going to be receiving how to fill your energy up, because sometimes you've been depleted because you've been overgiving. This is also the nature of Aquarius. I can see something coming up for astrology for me. Definitely. Like right now, I cannot give so much readings to people. It began, I thought, well, Uranus is in my third, but I think there's some sort of, probably some overgiving that was happening from my side, and I have not been aware of. Yes, because for me, when I do these, it's like, oh, I just do this, I like to do that. I like to do the forecasts, I like to do these things. So being an astrologer, Uranus in my 10th, probably something like this coming up. Because when Saturn was in my 12th, I was making money from channeling and some astrological readings as well. So, yes, but I definitely know I want to invest more, and there are like limited opportunities to do that fiscally. So there's probably something coming like that for me. It's like I'm going to be paying it forward for the people I've learned from fiscally, because I did not get the chance to buy a lot of products And I will be making probably money from astrology, which is unexpected because I'm like, oh, astrology is so spoonetized. The heck if I don't know. Or like getting certification, which is weird because I'm new to veterans. I don't know. But you're going to have to figure out what it is for you. It's a small transit, but it's also a big one. There's a crisis. It's fiscal. Some purchase has to be made, and there is a eureka of how do we rise up from this crisis. Uranus brings in the eurekas as much as it brings in the troubles. Okay, this is why we like it so much. Okay, it will bring you shock, but it will also bring you revelation and eureka on how to get out of this crisis situation and remove the stagnation from your life, liberate yourself. So yeah. Yeah, we have the Mercury square Jupiter that can also be at February 10. That is with the lunation, the new moon in Aquarius. So that can also be time where new moon, I don't know, but Mercury square Jupiter is big dreams and trying to apply them going weird. So you might try to buy a car. It's like, I'm going to manifest my driving license by paying the first installment for the driving license or something like that. And they're like, but you don't have the money now. Yes, I've been saying that for 2 years. Okay, I have to do it eventually. Okay, let's see what this begins. And that can be something of that sort. So with Jupiter, there is still some choice, but because it's in your 12th house, there is less choice. Mercury is in your 12th house, there is less choice. Okay, you're going to be acting in a certain way. Because it's a transit, you're very likely to make the mistake now. So again, my approach is, if you know that, okay, you can say, oh, I am aware, I'm going to be aware, you're going to be aware, and you're going to be making this mistake now, learning from it, finding more, stretching more, processing more, and then learning to interfere in the pattern so you can have a process that gives you a durable, better habit or more intelligent way of self-awareness that you need to understand yourself better, as you can understand. Talk about an Aries second house to understand yourself better, to understand your expenses better. So yes. Next up, the hard aspects of Venus. Well, Venus is going to square Chiron on February 5th. And again, this is the ouchy aspect because Venus is your values, self-value, your values, and Chiron is the wound that you have, and in Aries it's about your sense of self. So this is another one where it's about there's an emotional wound that you're attending to, but there's a crisis around this, and it can be around your appearance, some insecurity around your facial appearance, because it's Chiron and Venus in the 11th. Yeah, I was like, I'm not sure. Okay, you could be, there's a conflict between your public appearance and a wound you have like around your face or something like that. And with Aries, it's the head. Okay, so it might be like you're concerned about the shape of your head, or do I appear intelligent? Does my voice actually represent me? Is my voice authentic? And so on and so forth. So we might be addressing that, but there's going to be a little bit of a crisis there, especially when Chiron is conjunct in Rahu. You're meant to tend to this, whether it's by radical acceptance or find your own way to deal with that. It can have to do with the voice, and it can have to do with your head. So maybe your facial expressions as you speak, something like this. It's kind of like this awkward And at this time, Mercury is ingressing and kind of meeting Pluto at the same time. So yeah, it can be a word that you say, this unconscious, and how you are changing your expression, something like this. So this more like your public appearance, or do my values, Venus, are in alignment with my values, which is the second house. So you have Venus represents values, but she's ruling your third and eighth. So you might have some of your values being a dissonance with other values that are representing who like your sense of self is tied to your values by the merit of Aries being the second house. So of course, February 7th, Venus is also going to square the nodes. It's not an eclipse. It's not on a lunation. It's going to happen. There's going to be some fated losses and fated gains. Fated loss, fated gains. Something goes out the door, something new comes in. Because Venus is going to be in your 12th house, if you've been receiving money by siblings because of your mental state, then they might say, okay, we can't help you anymore. But then, you know, you get a client to come in, say, I don't know, Mars in your 12th, I want a consultation, I want this, I want that. Like it might be coming from another place, or you might decide to go on to be secluded a little bit, and then the wealth is kind of hidden. Like you look at the sky, or you find some fruit trees in the neighborhood, or stuff like that. And so there's a little bit of loss, but there's also a little bit of something new. Some new wealth is opening up to you. Or you might have some nice dreams. You might get, I can deal with this reality, I just go to sleep, and then you will have some beautiful dreams. Then we talked about the Venus-Pluto, next synodic cycle, of course. Venus-Mars. Venus conjuncts Mars on February 22nd. Now, conjunction is a hard aspect. Mars is hot. Venus is kind of like warm, lukewarm. And this is where, yes, Mars and Venus meeting together. Of course, it's intimate. There can be both a separation, but also an encounter. It's quite passionate. And it's happening in your 12th. So this is 6 degrees Aquarius. And again, this is going to be to do with finances, connections, transportation, your daily habits. And with the Mars thing, there are things you've been swiping under the rug, okay? But you are identifying with something that you might be letting into either a partner or a sibling or a hidden lover. Okay, like your 12th house is so packed that there's just so many interpretations for this. There can be a little bit of a conflict because it is a conjunction, but it's also kind of like a passionate new beginning. The passionate new beginning, but then it involves some loss. So be aware about meeting people when you are both in a situation where you just lost something, okay? Because that can be, you know, there's an opposition to the moon, so it's not exactly emotions, they exist passionately, but perhaps too passionately, okay, too unstable, too sustained. There's a square here with Jupiter that's supposed to be resolved with Scorpio, that's ruled by Mars, that's conjunct in Venus. So there's a loop of instability here, especially when it comes to your emotions. And yeah, you don't want to be like having affairs at the workplace, or where you know, kind of like avoid or with your accountant or psychologist. So you want to beware, okay? And then if it's not in the books, don't put it there. Like there is a new beginning. It can be a separation from something, someone, some connection. But there is loss that is, you're losing both your ability to do something like vocational skill, and you're losing as well your, you could be losing debt, okay? But also you could be losing something to do with your credit score, or a loan might be increasing interest, so you lose some money. And so you have a less of a financial freedom at this time. And so you want to be cautious of like starting an affair, or opportunity presents itself to you, is going to be laden with secrets and losses and weird things. And again, if it's not in the books, no need to put it there. And that is, but again, because it is the 12th house, some of it may be a little bit more fated just by the merit of it happening in the 12th house. So the moon is growing. It means that if this, whatever begins now, is going to be lasting for a while. With the time, you'll see how to get to that. But always remember this starting point, and that starting point was the conjunction of Venus and Mars in your 12th house, affecting or perhaps even draining a little bit of your energy here. That is where you have awareness now, and as it unfolds, you kind of get your freedom back. Venus squares Jupiter, February 25. And this can be a big good thing, but it can also be, Venus is just leaving the conjunction with Mars, and they both square Jupiter. Grand hopes, but yes, losses are involved with it. Jupiter just magnifies the loss here. I'm sorry, but this is true. Okay, it's like it's a big hope, but there's some, you have to surrender it in a way, and perhaps the person that you just met, how you have to lose now. But what you gain is maybe the understanding more about the nature of like your desire, and maybe later manifesting something like this in a way that's more benefic for you. And last but not least, so Mars squares Jupiter, and this happens February 27. And again, those are personal planets, but because your 12th house is involved, it's going to feel less of a choice place for you. Okay, unless you have like tremendous awareness about the topic, great, you're going to go through this better. But if you don't, then there is surrendering of the issue. And this is where Mars at 10 degrees Aquarius squares Jupiter and 10 degrees Taurus. And this is also where you just lose more money. Okay. And again, you might buy something. It doesn't mean you don't gain from that, because you might buy something that actually benefits for your body, but you lose money on that you don't have. That's the point, okay? And it's big. It's either a big purchase, or you're putting your money where your mouth. You're putting your money where your mouth is, literally. So it's not like a bad thing. But for example, I say an investment is a donation is an investment. So that may mean money lost. Like that was a donation. And that donation perhaps did not do well for the person, or it's not yielding for the person. And so it's an investment lost, okay? You win some, you lose some. And that can be the case. Of course, when it actually happens, then you deal with the loss and you have to surrender that. And Jupiter magnifies this, but Jupiter is also ruling your ascendant. And so you magnify this consciously, in a way. It is where you have more consciousness a little bit, because this Jupiter is still ruled by Venus, which is in your 12th. So there's something you consciously do, but you're unconscious about what your conscious decision may imply, and the implications are big. Okay? Again, it's not a Pluto big, it's not a Uranus big, it's not a Neptune big. Okay? It is a Jupiter big. Okay, so you think that that implies you're just losing that, but you're losing a little bit more. Okay? And then when you surrender that, some form of wealth will unfold in an unpredictable way, but that might take time as well. So we talked about all the stuff that there is to speak about the lunations, what the benefit is. We talk about outer planets, then all the pack in your 12th house is going to be sextiling Neptune. So Neptune at kind of like the end of your first house. And when things conjunct Pluto, they also sextile Neptune. So surrender, at least in the beginning, is and throughout the month of February, okay, the ingress throughout the month of February. So you're gonna have points where surrender is more facilitated. It's easier for you to surrender the matters of the 12th. When Pluto is in the beginning of your 12th and Neptune is still in Pisces, it's easier for you to surrender your power on things you cannot control. That might make this ingress a little bit more blessed for you. Okay? It's and if we associate the Pluto with, let's say, it also depends what Pluto generation you are and what house Pluto is in your natal chart to tell you what is it that you are surrendering. But it's, if the 12th house requires surrender of something and Pluto requires taking in power, then, and Pluto sextile Neptune is the places where you surrender and take your power. You surrender into your own power. That is facilitated more smoothly now. And this sextile can come about whatever. It might be a bit easier because of the sextile to Neptune to deal with certain losses. Okay, and in the surrender, you find yourself enriched in a way. And so all of the planets that are going to conjunct an open synodic cycle with Pluto are doing it in a sextile to Neptune. This is where at least you are aware that you are surrendering something. At least you are aware that this is what is being asked of you right now as to this topic. Okay? That by letting go, and you're learning how to let go, you are gaining trust in you and in the world in ways that are unpredicted, and that is actually a hidden blessing of this transit. Okay, so yeah, that's the deal. Now let's talk about the lunations. So February 10th, new moon in your 12th house. So I began with the Aquarius ascendant. It's kind of like a 12th house charity for me. And now I'm moving to Pisces, which deals with the packed 12th. So new moon 20 degrees Aquarius. Now, it's not conjuncting Deneb-Algedi. But the moon will apply to Deneb-Algedi. I want you to capitalize on this. If you can catch the moon on Deneb-Algedi, it will also sextile Aries. We are in the few years now where Aries is sextile to Deneb-Algedi. It deserves an episode of its own. You can catch that best when the moon is on Deneb-Algedi. Because you wanted to conjunct the fixed star and then it sextiles Aries, which is a planet. So it's easier to tap to. It's possible to tap to with a sextile. And that deserves an episode of its own. Other than that, there is a new beginning pertaining to understanding how your hobbies, your fertility, your children, what you do for fun, your romantic life, not casual romance, because there's nothing casual about Cancer in the fifth, but kind of like the people you have romance with, and your pets, your enemies at work, your physical health, your work, your mental health. Okay, so fifth, sixth, and Saturn, the 12th. Your mental health, seclusion, the ways you could be undermining yourself unconsciously, and your goals and dreams are all related. So if you are addicted to work, you might realize this now. You might think, oh, because I'm not making money and I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm not making any money. It's not really working when I'm doing these forecasts. Maybe I am. And so, yes, you might be finding out that, while you're rejecting everybody because you think they're criticizing you for not working, and they actually see you, don't mean you, and they think you are a person who overworks. And you find out that you are overworking. Or alternatively, some enemies at work try to approach you hiddenly. Okay, try to affect your life hiddenly. Again, not with the Pisces. Not like really. We undermine ourselves so much by ourselves that you can really not compete with that. And it takes a whole Saturn cycle for us to understand we have a 12th house. Okay, it's ruled by Saturn. We talk about an Aquarius ascendant, we talk about a Pisces ascendant. Okay, and then what do? We're optimistic, we're compassionate, we're letting go, we're going with the flow. This is exactly what you need to do with the 12th. Oh, I was not surrendering this, so let's surrender this too. Okay? So again, we undermine ourselves so much that it's really very difficult for you. And also you get karma for this for like 28-year cycle. So, like something you did to a Pisces 28 years ago, you get the implications 28 years later. You might not see, where was it coming from? Oh, yes, 28 years ago that happened. Okay, but the Pisces is not like vengeful or anything. They're just healing themselves. Unless, of course, it's badly aspected or something like this. Or dealing with the Pisces moon that goes to the upheavals, and I don't know. But not all Pisces. So this is where there's a new beginning for you. Okay? Taking care of for your mental health and your physical health might be joyous because Moon is ruling your 5th house. So you might be losing joy or losing a lover. Or if there's a hobby that you do, you might be losing that hobby because it's in the 12th. So you might be losing a hobby, losing a job, hopefully not losing a pet. But this one is some loss that begins now. And it could be because you're attending to your physical health. So something that you like to eat, maybe the way you like to eat or nourish yourself. So you have to lose. You can't do all that sushi. You can't do all that chocolate. You can't do all that, fishes. I don't know what, fish and chips, stuff like that. So you might see, okay, that really is affecting my health or my heart and so on, and you lose that. Or you can't do all that, lovers. It's affecting your heart. You're heartbroken. and you have to let them go. What's more here? Well, it's squaring Uranus. So again, there's going to be a eureka about this. Whatever, if you might be losing it in the 5th house or in the 6th house, but you gain a dream, okay? Because Uranus has a dream here. It's ruled by Venus. Venus is in the 11th house, being public, about something that is important for you to communicate about, or you had your dream car, or so. For example, maybe you are if there is some paperwork to do with your realizing a dream that you have, okay? So you might not be able to do all these hobbies, but you're meeting a dream. So there's some sort of a dream come true here, but in a crisis way. It's like you're forced to do this, but Venus is separating from a trine to Uranus. You're forced to make some dream come true. You're forced to walk your talk. You're forced to make some dream come true. Maybe it's to do with the business, or a car, or a vlog becomes like public. It is becoming official. You are being identified with your voice publicly. There's just something happening here. Your dreams, Saturn in your 1st house is your dreams and goals are catching up to you in various ways. Like, I haven't seen that coming. But this is true. Your dreams and goals are catching up to you. Okay? And some of it is because they are manifesting. So it's a little less fun. But Venus is still a planet of pleasure. And so the crisis is where something that you do for fun, or something, let's say when I started to study in academia, I felt very free. And then, but I did not have enough money for food. I was like, it's not like I had money for food before that. So, but at least I was doing something that I dreamed to do. And this is a little bit like this. It's not like that. But this definitely, you're gonna cut short on the fun and romance, and allow and walk your talk when it comes to manifesting your dreams, okay? Because it is Saturn, you don't have too much of a choice about this. So you're going to be walking your talk, and you're going to be incarnating your dreams. Very literally, because Saturn rules the 11th and the 12th. Your conscious dreams, your unconscious dreams. I'm not talking about like nightmares and stuff. I'm talking about like, dreams and goals. You're going to be meeting those, Pisces. So there's a new beginning there. And because you're going to be losing maybe a certain job, a certain duty, a certain fun in favor of certain dreams that, it's literally about walking your talk here. And this walking your talk has to do with dreams and goals. Then, darling, you are going to be walking your talk and meeting your dreams. That's just so exciting. I didn't see that one coming. So February 24. February 24, we have a full moon in, yeah, we have a full moon. Where are you? In Virgo, 5 degrees Virgo. So a sign away from just right now. And this is a lunation. That's okay. Something is revealed, which is the axis of the 1st and 7th. Mercury is already in the 1st, so a partner can come to you. It's also ruling your housing, or your elders or your ancestors. So a partner can come to you and they help you meet with your ancestors if it's well aspected, or your home life upbringing, ancestral line and motherland or fatherland are very related to your partner as well. Okay. Or these topics are meaning a lot in your partnerships. So you might be it might be revealed to you, just to what extent. It's a culmination. So something's being revealed. It looks like it's of benefic nature, both because Jupiter is trining this thing, and it's applying to trine Jupiter in Taurus in your 3rd house. So not all that scary. Oh, yes, the sun is sort of kind of like, in conjunction with Mercury and Saturn. And that can be a long-term partnership, but it's ending because it's a full moon. So you're letting go of an old partnership. Moon is ruling your 5th house. So you're letting go of an old partnership, or an issue is revealed and you're letting this issue go about the partnership. Saturn, we talked about this, your dreams and goals, any kind of like your mental state, or like hidden enemies or something like that. And so again, hidden, you could think about this like, oh, hidden enemies try to get you to not meet your dreams and goals and stuff like that. Saturn is like, if something is meant to you, you will meet this. If something is not meant to you, then you will have to surrender this, and there is some other hidden wealth. Okay, it's not about your downfall. Okay, this is what you need to understand. So let's say there's a dream that you had, I don't know, for example, I had a dream to be a filmmaker, and then, after the Me Too, I was like, whoa. I was not a filmmaker, full-blown, full-fledged, like in that industry. Whoa. Like, oh, those are the things that happened in that era. But then I also had to encounter then some of that at the academia. Okay, so I was like making that dream come true and living in there. So there's definitely, something to do with your karmic life. You might be ending, on the verge of ending, or it's just like you're letting go of a karmic situation here. Sun is ruling your 6th house, so but it's about your relational either pattern or a partner, if you have a partner. Okay, think about it. Rahu right now is in your 2nd house. It's about to be in your 1st, and it's about to be about you. So even if you enter a partnership, it's going to be more about you. Okay, you growing there. It's going to be more about, or it's going to be about your ending a partnership. It's going to be more about you. Okay, you are having a new you, and this happens in 2024. Okay, we will have an eclipse with Rahu in your sign in 2024 already, or an eclipse with the moon or sun in your sign. It's going to be already in 2024. So now you are ending things, and and you're letting go of old karmic debts in all various ways. Okay, so this is what I see here. You're letting go of an old romance partner, or it's funny because it looks like you want to, if you're dating someone casually and you want to make sure this could be a committed situation, the answer might be no, because you get just to the point where you're coming to be committed. Okay, this moon visits, when the moon visits your seventh, the fifth can become the seventh. So romantic partner can become your romantic lover can try to be your partner, or you try to be partners with this person. Okay, but here they try to be partner with you, and the answer could be no, because the moon is applying to oppose Saturn, and Saturn is contraction, is ending things. Or the answer could be yes, but because this is a full moon, what can I tell you? It's very intricate, because full moon is usually about culmination of something, letting go. So you might be harvesting a commitment, or your partner might be harvesting a commitment, and then it might be a yes. But look at Venus. Venus is in the 12th, conjuncting Mars. So you see this. You see the problem, right? You don't want to commit to someone when Venus and Mars are in your 12th house of losses. Neither does your partner. It's not good for either of you. So if they pop the question, they have to. You should have to refuse that. Very likely. So it's not a good time to commit, but also it might be revealed to you. Okay, it might be revealed to you. It's like, oh, if we are together, this is what we lose. And it's a sense of connection, a sense of drive. We undermine ourselves when we're together. Okay. So another point of view can be, if you're already in a partnership, it's not about separation or this or getting serious or stuff like that. It's just a revelation that, oh, when we are together as partners, those are the ways in which we undermine ourselves. Okay. And you have to look at both of your charts and see, what is this? What is this? Those are the ways in which being together with a partner at this point is undermining for me. Or when Venus and Mars visit the 12th, those are the ways in which we undermine ourselves. And then you could be addressing that, or you can be letting go of these. This is kind of like in one of those better cases. But still, as long as you don't say yes to someone who pops the question at this point, this is where I'm not too worried about you with this lunation. And with this, Jupiter is trining, so it's going to make this issue be conscious. It's going to facilitate. Okay, you have to surrender something. You're going to be facilitating this change. It's culminating and letting go. Okay, this is how we have been undermining ourselves. Okay, now we can let that habit go. Now we can let, if it needs to be, that partnership go, or now we can let, or this is the money that we've lost together for business partner. Now we can, go short on it and so on. This is it. This is for you. Oh my gosh, almost 2 hours. So yes, that's a long version, but I'm hoping this is helpful. Thank you.